Why did I choose to run a marathon with no race, with no fuel, with no training plan? Why did I do something so crazy? I don't even know. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. What possessed me? What actually possessed me to run this marathon? I planned this marathon within a week and it was literally the craziest thing that I've ever done. Even whilst I was planning for it, whilst I was eating for it, I literally said to myself, you're crazy, because this really could not go well. So the Saturday before I decided to run this marathon, I had run, I think it was a 20k by accident. As soon as I ran the 20k, I said, I feel like I could do more, but I'm on a cut, so I'm trying to protect myself as much as possible. Also, I deal with a lot of knee flare-ups, so I wanted to protect my body as much as possible. So I thought to myself, run light, run slow right now. I knew that running long distance in that moment wasn't the smartest idea for me, so even that 20k that I ran, in that moment I was pushing it just a little bit, but I did it anyway. I'm a rock star. I'm a daredevil. I wasn't even supposed to run that 20k in the first place, but I ran it by accident, but I did it really slowly and I enjoyed it. In my mind, I was like, I feel like I could do more. And that's what happened the first time I ran my 21k, my first half marathon. I ran a 15k, I think, that week. It was a Saturday and I said to myself, I feel like I could have done more. I felt like I had more in me. That same day, my friend ran his first half marathon. I was like, I feel like this is a sign for me to run my own. And literally the next morning, I said, I'm gonna run a marathon. I went there and I got myself some gels. And what did I do? I ran my first half marathon. Ever since then, for like a good month and a half, I was running a half marathon every single weekend, and I still do, except I have knee flare-ups. I think I ran a 30k twice before this marathon. The last 30k that I ran was so hard. It pushed me to my limits. I literally stopped at 25k to get some water, and as soon as I was done, I was literally almost in tears because I said, I don't know if I can continue doing this. And I was by myself. There was no race. Obviously, when I do these distances, I've never even ran an official race before. I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and I finished it, and I started crying after because it was so difficult for me. The same day I ran this 20k, I was also speaking to my brother, and I feel like he was kind of daring me a little bit because he was like, you could do it, you could do it, you could do it. And he compared it to when I tried my first pull-up, and he said, you could have done your first pull-up time ago, but you didn't want to do it. And I felt like he was just poking at me, like, you know, when you're poking, like you're poking me, and I'm like, you're testing me. That's why even on my Strava, I literally labeled it, you're testing me, because I feel like he was testing me in that moment. So what did I do? I said, okay, cool. In my mind, didn't say anything, zipped my mouth, and I said, I'm in a deficit, my knees hurt, this is not the perfect condition to do it. I went home, guys, and I sat down. I watch a lot when it comes to running, when it comes to fitness, and I just started seeing a lot of people run. And I think I was watching a Lucy Davis video that day, and I said to myself, you could run a marathon if you really wanted to. I said, you know what, next Saturday I'm gonna run a full marathon. I did not plan for this marathon. This was a marathon without any training, and when I say any training, I did not specifically train for a marathon. I know a lot of people use apps like Runner, Strava, Cooper, like Run Club or whatever. I have never had those apps, partly because I just don't want to pay for it. I train really heavily on a day-to-day. I'm not training for anything. I just really like fitness and I just love moving my body, and I feel like I low-key am addicted to it. I don't even know. I literally was training really hard twice a day. I would go on the elliptical for like an hour and a half because I just want to push my body. I want to push my body to be able to do hard things. And it's also for me mentally as well, because I found that when I do hard things that I don't want to do physically, it kind of translates to my mental. So I'm able to do things outside the gym that I really don't want to do, the hard things, make harder decisions. I don't know how it works for any other person, but that's how it works for me. Don't get me wrong, guys, I know that there's a limit. I did take a step back sometimes, because sometimes you do really need to listen to your body and just stop when your body wants you to stop, which is why I stopped running for that big chunk before I went into a deficit. My mindset going in was, I'm going to finish this race whether or not I like it. And what made it easier for me was not focusing on pace. I think what made my last 30k really hard was I was trying to focus more on pace. I was trying to go as fast as I could in order to get like a sub 3 hours, which I did, but it wasn't a fun run. It was really hard for myself. And I said to myself, for this specific race, I said, I don't care about pace, I just care about finishing. If I have to do an 8-minute pace in order to finish this thing, I'm going to finish it. That's what made me so motivated to do it, because there was no pressure. I wasn't putting any pressure on myself. I was just letting myself enjoy the situation. And one thing about me is I love long distance running, and I'm not really into the pace and like chasing PBs and stuff like that. I'm more into chasing PBs when it comes to distance. I've really enjoyed long distance running. The day before the marathon, when I tell you my heart was pounding, even to go to bed, my heart was pounding. brain, when something's going on or when I'm anticipating something, when I'm expecting something, I can't sleep, and already I struggle sleeping, and I know that when I don't sleep, my runs are really hard. So I really had to give myself like a long time, so just in case I don't sleep during like the first 3 hours, I could still get like 7 hours sleep in. So I made sure to like give myself enough time to fall asleep, to let my body calm down to fall asleep. The day before, I literally ate, I had rice, I cut out my fiber, so I had plain rice with sprinkle of barbecue sauce on it and prawns on the side. I cut out my yogurt bowl for that night, and honestly I was so upset when I couldn't have my egg white oats that night. I just had to look at the bigger picture. I also enjoyed that rice meal because I don't really eat rice on a day-to-day, because I really love rice so much that I want the biggest portion of it, which doesn't really align with my goals when it comes to losing weight and cutting. So I just tend to just cut it out completely until I am able to eat as much of it as I want, basically. A half marathon is a very long time. You're spending 2 hours running. That is a very long time. And keeping yourself entertained or having music in constantly, especially if you're someone who is overly stimulated very easily, it's really hard to just run for 2 hours straight. Sometimes running does get boring. Sometimes you're on the run and you're just like, why am I even doing this? And I was so scared that that was going to happen to me. And don't get me wrong, at some point I did get bored. This was closer to 21k. I did get bored kind of, because it just felt like I was just going and going and going, and the thought of having to do all of that going back, I was just like ugh. But one thing that I did was I chose a new location that I've never been to before. I know, brave, very brave, because that could have gone horribly wrong. It could have affected my time, even if I didn't care about time. It could have affected just navigating. That could have been very stressful for me. But I made sure to choose a place where I've never been to before. Why did I do that? Because I wanted to see new things. I wanted to be interested. I wanted to be able to look around and be like, oh, that's interesting, that's nice. See different people, see different things. And I went to like a nice busy area. I ended up touching central London. It was so nice. It was so lovely seeing people there on holiday for their Christmas break, or just people, tourists. A lot of people just looked at me like, oh yeah, good, you're doing a good job and all of that stuff. And I'm so glad that I didn't see any runners, because one thing about seeing runners when you're running, especially when you're doing a slow long run, people who are doing tempo runs are running next to you and you're just thinking to yourself, no, I look so slow. And I'm so glad that I didn't have that, because sometimes my ego does try to get the best of me, and I am so glad that I didn't let it get the best of me. I didn't look at my watch, literally covered it with my gloves, because I didn't want to focus on pace. I didn't want to focus on time. As soon as I got to the halfway point, I put my phone back in my pocket. I'm really good with directions, so when I go somewhere for the first time, I'm able to find my way around the place. So I was able to find my way back home. During the week of the marathon, I didn't really eat anything differently. I eat the same thing every single day, especially being on a cut as well. I find it really easy to just eat the same thing every day because I don't have to think. For breakfast, I would have some tuna on toast with some carrots, with some apples on there, or an extra really plain rubbish sandwich on the side. We all love a plain rubbish sandwich. If you don't, you are weird. For lunch, I would probably skip lunch, or I would have a Greek yogurt bowl to hit my protein goals. For dinner, I would eat 2 meals at the same time. I would have egg white oats with some kefir and bananas and a dark chocolate bar on top, and then on the side I would have like a deconstructed jacket potato type of thing, and I still have it. I'm literally gonna have it tonight. I'm so excited for it. Honestly, I'm so hungry. It's really cold in the UK right now, we all know this, and for like a week it just switched in November and it just became way too cold, and it just literally just slapped you in the face. It started pinching you, the weather. That was the period when I was supposed to run this marathon, and that was a period where I ran this marathon, should I say. I had to really think about what I was gonna wear, the leggings that I had to wear. So during my runs leading up to that marathon, I made sure I wore the same thing each time just to get comfortable with it. I wore this top right here. This is the USA Pro half zip thing. I wore it 2 days before the actual run itself. I did like a 6k shakeout run just to test out my gear, test out just my feet, how I'm feeling and stuff like that, just to loosen up a little bit, because I didn't want my first time running that week to be on the actual day. It was so perfect for me. I was fully warm. And in terms of my gloves, in terms of protecting my hands from the cold, because like I said in my previous videos, I was experiencing really bad things when it came to the cold in my fingers. So what I did was I slapped on latest gloves, and then I put on hand warmers there as well, and then I put on sports gloves, and then I put socks over it, and that's how I was able to run the entire marathon. And I'm so glad that I did it, because I was fully warm the entire time, and I double socked as well. I wore a lightweight top shirt thing underneath this as well. That really did help me keep warm. So if you're running during winter, maybe try to invest in hand warmers. Best things ever, like literally saved my life. And my brother ran really long distance that day as well, and that literally saved his life as well. Also, I got a Salomon belt. I used that for the first time. When I tested it out the day before the marathon, it was really bouncy. It could move. I could feel everything moving in it, but on the day it stayed. And I had water at the back of it as well, but I didn't use the water, which is so weird. Like I took a little sip at the halfway point because I said I don't want to ever stop to drink water after this, because again, I heard a lot of people say don't stop, just keep on going, because stopping is worse. And I do get it. I've experienced that before. Stopping is worse sometimes, and I didn't want to even take the chance. This thing did not move. It was so nice having free hands, because usually when you're holding something, when you're running, your shoulders start to feel it. Already your shoulders are feeling it, but imagine holding your phone the entire time. I said nah, I'm not doing this. So I used the belt for the first time, and I'm so glad that that did not fail me either. So at a halfway point, I really wanted to pee, and I went to the toilet. And guys, let me admit something to you guys. I peed myself. Half of that was on myself, half of that was in the toilet. I was holding that pee for such a long time because I didn't want to stop before the halfway point, because when you start stopping too much, I start losing interest more and more. I'm so glad I was wearing black leggings, and I'm so glad that it was so cold, and I'm so glad that I was running. I wasn't going on a bus, because honestly speaking, like it was hard. No one needs to know about that, guys. Don't tell anybody that I said that. Don't do that. I used 5 gels. I used Applied Nutrition. I used Vimto, and then I used SIS gels, 2 caffeinated gels. Worst thing I've ever tried in my entire life. That tasted so bad, yeah. And I use SIS gels usually-ish, but I've literally switched to Applied Nutrition because SIS is just too thick, and I'm not a fan of the texture. Especially when you're running, it makes your mouth so dry as well that you need water. I feel like it just dehydrates me. So I used the Applied Nutrition and the Vimto one. They're really light. They go down really easily, and I feel like they don't work better, but they work about the same. They're just easier to take down. So that's what I did in terms of gels as well. I used salt sticks, these ones specifically. They helped me so much during my half marathon. I cramp a lot, especially around my knees, because again, I do have some knee flare-ups and stuff like that. When I used them the first time, they really worked well. The second time I used them, I lost them on my run, and I felt like that's what made my run so hard. I used them for this marathon, and it was literally amazing. I didn't cramp up. Maybe that's why I didn't even need as much water as well. You just never know. But I was literally like solid. Like when I tell you I was stacked up, guys, I was stacked up. During the run, I genuinely expected to hit a wall. I remember seeing a lot of people saying that you're gonna hit a wall, you're gonna hit a wall, you're gonna hit a wall, whatever. I was waiting for this wall to hit. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, guys. It was very difficult. It was really hard. It was raining as well. It was still cold. Even if I was strapped up, it was still really cold, but I was still waiting for this wall to hit. It was hard, but I felt like the 30k run that I had before, I felt like that was harder. I feel like that pushed me to keep going, because I've been through worse. I literally kept on telling myself, like, you've been through worse. Worse has happened on your run, and you've carried on going. So I feel like that kind of helped me as well. I didn't really hit that wall, and I really hope that I never hit that wall, honestly. Let me not jinx it. My last 4 kilometers was like, honestly, second most emotional time, like running. First time was when I ran my first ever 5k. I literally was crying in the middle of my streets, and my neighbors like looked out the window and they didn't understand why I was crying. But my brother happened to be outside at that time, and he was like, they don't get it, man, they don't get it. Because honestly, you're just so emotional. Like, you're filled with so much emotions, and I just don't know how to explain it. Like, it's not a bad thing, it's just like a wow, it's just overwhelming. It's just, this is the best feeling of my life. And I remember when I was 4k left, 4k down, or 4k almost down, whatever, I literally started crying. I remember I was on a bridge, and I was like, I've literally got 4k left, because I run this route all the time. I was at a familiar space. I run this place all the time, and I know that I've only got 4k left. I literally started crying on the bridge, and cars were passing by, people were passing by, looking at me just doing this. People would think that, why are you running? Like, why are you suffering yourself? But they didn't understand, like, I couldn't have felt better in that moment, and it was literally the best thing of my life. I remember I got closer to my end point. A lot of people were around me, and I was shouting, and I was just like, I did it, 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 I did it. Ah! I went upstairs, and I literally started crying, and I was just like, I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I did it. It was literally the best moment of my life. Like, I was literally like, this is amazing. And as soon as I ran it, I said, you could have done more. What thought kept me going? Don't tell my brother this because we don't actually want to give him any like compliment at all. But one of the things that kept me going was the fact that I was going to tell my brother about it, because my brother runs as well and he started his running journey before me. We were supposed to start together, but he is more on it. He's more focused. I just look at him like my running inspo. The thought of telling him after the run kept me going because I was like, I can't wait to tell my brother that I've done this. Another thing that kept me going was just to prove to myself that I can do whatever I want to do, because I don't think you understand when I say when I do hard things in fitness, it just shows me that I can do anything that I want to do when it comes to my music, when it comes to my work, when it comes to anything that I want to do. It just proves to me that I can do anything. Genuinely speaking, like I feel like I'm Superwoman. Like I feel like I can do anything that I want to do. It's the same thing with weight loss. Weight loss is probably one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do in my entire life, but just for the fact that I've done it, I feel like I could do anything as well. Definitely speaking, those are the two main things that pushed me to do this, and I'm so glad that I did it. I don't regret doing it. I went on my Strava, went to my best times, and I saw the marathon time and I said, what's the next one after that at 50k? I said, so in terms of what I would do differently next time, I would love to see how I perform with fuel, not being in a 500 calorie deficit. I don't think that was allowed. I don't think that's normal. I want to see how I can do or how I perform when I'm fully fueled, when I'm not 500 calories down, when I can carb load, when I've got everything on deck. In terms of fuel and mistakes, I don't think that having 25 grams of carbs in my gels really did anything for me. I've never tried anything more. I've never tried the higher carb gels before. So again, I might want to try that next time to see if it really does anything different. But I don't feel like that stopped me or that hindered my progress or that ruined anything for me. I don't really think that did anything for me. I'm used to using these gels anyway. Those are the gels that I use on a day-to-day anyway. I really don't know what my run could have been like without it, so that's maybe another thing that I could add into my next run. I did notice though at some point that I was going a bit fast, and I remember this was around when I was around the busy areas. I would go a little bit too fast and I would have to call myself back and be like, remember you've got 20k, remember you've got 10k left. So I think ahead of time because I don't want to burn out. So remember that you still got a long time and you're running a distance that you've never run before, so you want to be able to pace yourself in a smart way so you're not crashing or you're not hitting that wall that everyone keeps talking about as well. Let me tell you the craziest thing. So after the marathon, I remember just after I finished, my legs were hurting so bad. I've never felt that level of pain before, honestly. The last time I felt that was 30k, but it wasn't as bad. Like it felt like, I don't even know, it was aching. It wasn't even burning, it was just aching. I don't know what to compare it to. So I had to walk around and I was just walking around. I was limping in the high street. People were just looking at me like, is this girl okay? Honestly, that was like one of the most painful things that I feel like I've been through as well. It was so painful, but when it died down, it died down. The next day it was hard going up and down the stairs, but I literally was standing the whole day because work actually continues, life continues. You asked me to do that on a random Sunday, on a random Saturday. I feel like I recovered well from it because I pushed my body to recover. I pushed my body to walk around. I didn't just sit down the next day. The next day, like I said, I was literally on my feet the entire day. Like when I tell you the entire day I was on my feet. The day after, I went to the gym and I did something really light. I did like light leg work. Again, maybe I shouldn't have, I don't know. My body responds well to rest, but sometimes I just need to stress it a little bit because sometimes when I rest too much, it gets comfortable in that state. So I just tend to like just poke at it a little bit, just let it, just give it a little nudge. The week after, I didn't run at all the week after because again, I deal with knee issues that come and go and they can be really painful to the point where sometimes I lay in bed and it feels like I can't even move. It literally aches that bad. So I didn't run because I didn't want to make it worse for myself and I didn't want to be out again for months. One thing that I would say though about the recovery was my immune system was so down. I don't know what happened. I felt so sick during that week. It was really hard, but I was pushing my body anyway because I just wanted my body to just not just give up on me. So I pushed it a little bit too hard sometimes. I push it a little bit too hard sometimes, but I feel like what I did helped my body in that moment. So I pushed myself. Today is 2 weeks after Saturday. I ran a half marathon today. So it was really amazing. That was great. I really enjoyed every single moment of it. I love running and I can't wait to run more, honestly. I do want to get into longer distance in the future. So that's why I focus more on like time on feet. That's why I focus more on like stressing my body a little bit bit more because I know that harder things are to come. So I tell myself you're gonna have to do harder things later anyway, so you might as well just start from now. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that I touched on everything that I needed to touch on this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for going through this marathon journey with me. If you watched part 1, part 2, this is part 3. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want to get into running if you've never run before. Let me know how running is going if you just started running. And if you're an OG, give me some tips on how to get better as a runner. Give me some tips on what to do or what not to do, because I know that I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have done on this run. But let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, comment and subscribe to my channel for more videos on lifestyle, on running, on my phase. Mwah.